Om Prapannaparijataya Totravetraikapanaye Jnanamudraya Krishnaya Geetamritaduhe Namaha. Pranams everyone. So, we are in the 5th chapter. Sloka number 13. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Sarvakarmani manasa Sannyasaste sukam vashi nava-dvāre pure Dehī naiva kurvan kārayan. So Bhagavan in this chapter, after talking about Karma Yoga, those 3 shlokas are about Karma Yoga, 10, 11 and 12. Bhagavan comes back to the topic of Sannyasa, Jnana and Sannyasa. And here Bhagavan is talking about how a person who attains Jnana, how will he be? And he says a person who attains Jnana will become a sannyasi, and he will be in this manner. Bhagavan, we saw in the first line in the previous class, Sarva Karmani Manasa Sannyasya. Sarva Karmani, we saw that to be all actions. All actions, and all actions means what? All Nitya, Naimitika, Prayishchita Karmas, all actions, Sannyasya, they are renounced. Renounce, how can they renounce an action? We are talking about a Jnānī. A Jnānī need not renounce any actions. Let's put it this way. Because a Jnānī understands himself to be the Atma, and Atma is a Karta, a Bhokta, and therefore a Jnānī need not renounce any actions. Only if there are actions performed by the Atma that needs to be renounced. So it is not a direct renunciation, it is a renunciation done through the knowledge. So a Jnānī renounces the actions through knowledge, and therefore manasa. So through intellect, through the knowledge, the Jnānī renounces all the actions. And then sannyasaste aste sukam vashi. Sukam aste, we saw that to be comfortably seated. What does it mean? He is contented. He is seated with contentment. And he is able to be with himself. He is able to tolerate his company. He is able to live with his company. He does not need anybody else or anything else to entertain him. He is able to live with himself, with oneself. That is very important. And how is he able to live with himself? Will the senses not ask for enjoyment? Will the sense organs not ask for sense objects? So Bhagavan says Vashi. He is a Vashi. He has controlled the body, mind and senses. He has Indriya Nigraha, Mano Nigraha and Karya Nigraha. He is not enslaved by the body and mind. It is not that the body craves for something, the mind craves for something. That is what happens to us. For a Jnānī, there is no craving. Our body craves for comforts. The Jnānī's body does not crave. Or the Jnānī does not, through the intellect, would not have any craving. So Vashi Sukam Aste is one who is able to control his body and senses, so that he is comfortably seated. Where is he seated? That's given in the second line. Nava-dvāre pure Dehī. Pure nava-dvāre. Pure means city. We would have heard Mailapur, Miraspur, Bilaspur. These are Pure means city. Pure nava-dvāre. Nava-dvāre means 9 gates. So the city of 9 gates. So he is comfortably seated where? The Jnānī is seated in the city of 9 gates. The 9 gates are our Stula Sharira, this physical body. The physical body has got 9 gates, or 9 holes we can say, or 9 openings. The 2 eyes, the 2 ears, the 2 nostrils, the 1 mouth, 1 reproductive and 1 excretory. The 9 holes, 9 gates. So the Jnāni is comfortably seated, which means he is seated with contentment in the city, which is nothing but the physical body of 9 gates. The physical body is compared to the city, the multiple reasons given. Why? Multiple reasons can be given. The one reason is, normally any city, there used to be an adhikari or a leader in those days. So all the people in the city who used to work for this person, just like a king. So in the same way, this body, physical body, which is our body, the sense organs, the mind, they are all working for the Jivatma. The Jivatma is the master. And the body, senses and mind are supposed to be the workers for this master, leader. Of course, roles get reversed. In our cases, the body, mind and senses, they control what needs to be done or what needs to be acted upon. For a Jnāni, he sits on the physical body, as in he is different from the physical body. But what about an Ajñānī? Ajñānī also, he is different from a physical body supposedly. Then why does Bhagavan say Jnāni is seated on a physical body? In the Ajñānī case also, although you may say Jnāni Sukham Aste, which means he is seated comfortably, which means he is with Sukham. The Ajñāni may be seated, but he might be in Dukkham. But both are seated on physical body. Then why should Bhagavan specifically call out that a Jnāni is seated on the physical body? Shankara Bhagavad Pada says, he says, the Ajñāni does not think he is seated on the physical body. He thinks he himself is the physical body. And the physical body is seated in his home, in workplace, in this chair. So he thinks he is the physical body. Whereas the Jnāni, which means he has the ahankara, the self-identification with the body. Whereas the Jnāni at all times is very clear that he is not the physical body, that he is seated on the physical body. And the Jnāni thinks, where does he sit? Jnāni says, I am seated in this physical body. The physical body is my home. And that too, what kind of home? Rented home. He doesn't take this physical body to be himself, his own. There is no mamakara also on that. This is a body that has been given as rent by Bhagavan for a short, it has been given on lease to me. I am the tenant in this body. That clarity that a Jnāni has. Why do we need to go through all these things? And Bhagavad Pada explains, because until we get to the stage of getting this Jnana, this attitude we should try to follow, imbibe. Even as we are hearing this, we should try to imbibe ourselves like, okay, I am not the physical body, I am actually only the Atma, which has been given this physical body for rent, for short-term lease. I should not be dragged by this physical body. I should not be dragged by the likes and dislikes of this physical body. I should not be dragged by the likes and dislikes of my mind. So that attitude, to imbibe that, we have to understand this. So, nava-dvāre pure sukham aste. Vashi sukham aste pure nava-dvāre. Vashi is basically the Jnāni. Sukham Aste is comfortably seated. Pure nava-dvāre, in the city of 9 gates, or in the physical body with 9 gates. Next word, nava-dvāre pure, Dehī. Dehī means it represents the Jnāni. Dehī means the one who has the body. So which means he is not the body. What do we say about Ajñānī? Ajñānī thinks he is the body. So there is a difference. I have been given this body as against I am the body. So there is the difference between Jñānī and Ajñānī. So again we will see this full sentence. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasya aste sukham vashi nava-dvāre pure Dehī. So we can say sarva karmani manasa sannyasya Dehī vashi sukham aste nava-dvāre pure. Sarva karmani manasa sannyasya, renouncing all the actions or duties through knowledge. Dehī, one who has the knowledge that he has a physical body and is not the physical body. Vashi, one who has controlled the body and senses. Sukham aste, is comfortably seated, is seated with contentment. Where in the city, which is basically nothing but the physical body with city of 9 gates, which is nothing but the physical body. Now in the last part, in the Sloka, Bhagavan gives an important phrase. He says, okay, this Jnāni is seated there. What is he doing? What is the Jnāni doing seated in that home office? What is the home of him or her? The home of Jnāni, there is no his or her there. Home of a Jnāni is the physical body. What is he doing? Bhagavan answers, he is not doing anything. What is he not doing? Naiva kurvan na kārayan. Na eva kurvan na kārayan. Without doing any action. Kurvan means doing an action. Na kārayan. He is not instigating also anybody. He is not making someone else perform the action. Shastras talk about 2 types of kartrutvam. Kartrutvam means doership. 2 types of kartrutvam. One is karta. That is, if a person performs an action, then that person is called karta. Suppose if the person instigates another person to perform the action, then the other person is karta, but this person who instigates becomes hetu-karta or kārayita. So karta, kārayita. Then Bhagavan says, Jnāni is neither a karta nor a kārayita. So neither does he perform any action nor does he instigate anyone to act. What does he do? Comfortably seated in the physical body. His chair is the physical body. So neither does he act nor does he allow, nor does he make anyone to act. What does this mean? Question might come, does not the Jnāni eat or sleep or think or talk? Well, what it means is, when we say no, neither is he karta nor a kārayita, it means he will not have any plan, he will not have any project in his mind. For anyone to take up a project or take up a responsibility, for anybody to say, I want to do this, I have to do this within 3 months, I should do this, or I have to do this in the next few days or in the next few minutes. Why would somebody have this thought? Only when you have the ahankara. Because I am the physical body, or I am the mind, and I need for this for my physical body, or I need this for my mind, or I need this for my intellect. So because of ahankara, because of the identification, we will do. Or we will do because I am not contented with what I am today. What I am today, when I say what I I consider myself to be a physical body. I am not contented with my physical body. I will have to do exercise. I am not contented with my mind, and therefore I have to do something for my mind. I am not contented with my intellect, so I have to study. I am not contented with my mind. I am feeling wasted, so I have to work. I have to earn money. I am not contented with my esteem, self-esteem, and therefore I need to work. I need to go out and work and earn money. So there is the person who is not contented with himself. Only then we will have a plan in mind, a project in mind. Naiva kurvan means this jnani does not have any such sankalpa. Neither for a sankalpa for yajna, for homa or anything. Will he not do any activity? He will do the basic necessities that are needed for keeping the body, for maintaining the body. And those things will not come under action. Because the actions to maintain the body, remember this person has already got the jnana. The actions that are performed by the jnani to maintain the body until his prarabdha is exhausted are not considered action. And there are activities that he can do to get jnana nishta also, like doing japa or shravana, reading shastras, or even teaching, whatever it is, because they do not have any sankalpa purva. He does not do it having a sankalpa in his mind. Oh, I have to get so many students and therefore I have to teach. I have to, because it is not having any sankalpa purva, that will also not have any kartrutva. There is no doership there also. Remember, we are talking about a sannyasi jnani here. So there is no naiva kurvan. He does not do any action. Because he is a sannyasi. So sannyasi does not do any action unless for maintaining their physical body. But if we take up a non-sannyasi jnani, for example a grihastha jnani, a person like Janaka, we have already seen this before. In the 4th chapter, they will be performing actions for Loka Sangraha. Loka Sangrahartham, they will be doing work. So, jnani can be either a sannyasi or a grihastha. If a jnani's prarabdha is such that he is a sannyasi, then this part of the sloka will fit in, which is naiva kurvan na kārayan. He does not have he will not have any sankalpa in his mind, and therefore there is no kartrutva. If the jnani is a grihastha jnani, then he will perform what is called in Shastras as bādhita karma. Bādhita karma means these are actions and results that gets nullified upon gaining this Atma Jnana. Once you receive this self-knowledge, once you get this Jnana, once you get this self-knowledge, all the actions and the results are nullified. They do not produce any result. Because what happens is, when one gains Atma Jnana, when one gains self-knowledge, the doership, the kartrutvam is falsified. There is no question of kartrutvam at all in the first place. How can we say that the kartrutvam or the doership is falsified once he gets jnana? Let's take an example. Imagine we see a snake in a dark room. There is a dark room, there is no light there, we see a snake in there. But it is actually a rope. Because of darkness, we are not able to make it out. Now, what happens? Because we see it as a snake, there is a fear in our mind. Out of the fear, we take a stick and we beat the snake. Now, later someone brings a light and we realize that it is actually a rope only. Now, once we know that it is a rope, what happened to all our actions? The beating action, the fear, the running away, they all become invalid, badita. Because why? Because there was never a snake at all. I don't get the papa of beating a snake because I had never beaten a snake. The snake was never there. So similarly, once this self-knowledge comes, the doership, the kartatvam, it is understood to be false. So all the actions that are done due to ignorance, it loses its capacity to produce results. Just like, as I said, beating a rope, it did not affect the real snake. So let me give another example. Say, for example, in a dream, we work hard, we earn money, and we commit actions. Some of them good actions, some of them bad actions. Now, when we wake up, what happens? The entire dream world, it disappears. Now, the dream karma, the dream papa, the dream punya, will it follow us in this life, in this waking world? No, it cannot follow us. It becomes badita, invalid. It is only for that world. The waking knowledge, it has made the dream doership invalid. Similarly, once we get this self-knowledge is like waking up from this dream of individuality. So once I get this self-knowledge, all the kartritvam that I have been doing in this world gets negated, badita, it becomes invalid. But there is, of course, having said, there is a slight difference between waking up from the dream and waking up from this ignorance. Waking up from the dream is, we know that there is a separate order of reality. But waking up from this ignorance, we will still be in the same world. It is like, I see the water in a desert, I see the water. Until I had this ignorance, I saw that as water. It's a water body. Now, my ignorance is removed, I know it is a mirage. So I will not run after it. I will not run to get that water because I know it's a mirage. I am not affected by it. And it is not that I will not see water anymore. I know my eyes will still show that as water. But I know it is not water. So similarly, when I wake up from this ignorance, it's not that it's like dream world. The dream world vanishes once I wake up. Once I get knowledge, does this world vanish? No, it won't. It will still be there. But I will know what is real, what is not. So that is the difference there. Now coming back to na kurvan na kārayan. So all my accumulated karma, sanchita karma, when I get the knowledge, it becomes badita. It will not affect the jnānī. You remember in chapter 4 we saw, in chapter 4, Sloka 37 we saw, Jnānāgni sarva karmani bhasmasat kurute. The fire of knowledge will burn all karma to ashes. We saw the three benefits of jnana. Mohanasha, Papanasha, Karmanasha. If you remember 4th chapter. There also we had seen that once we get Jnana, all karma are burnt to ashes. Badita karma. Karma is rendered powerless. In the sense, it is as good as like there is a burnt wood that has been already burnt. It cannot burn again. In the same way, the actions are burnt. It cannot produce the results anymore. So this is for na kurvan. So the Jnānī, because he has renounced kartrutvam, there is no action for him. Now we have to see what about the karya kartrutvam or the hetu-kartrutvam. How to understand that? See, typically what happens is we make this mistake, especially old people. They have this habit. When they were young, obviously when they were young, their sense organs, we can probably include ourselves also. We are also turning old. When we were young, our sense organs and indriyas were very strong. So we would have done a lot of action. But as we grow older, the eyes may not see properly. The ears may not hear properly. The legs cannot walk or run fast. But what about the mind? The mind is still fast. In fact, sometimes as we grow older, the mind is much more faster than when we were young. The mind starts thinking a lot. The mind goes, the thoughts just keep flowing out. So as we age, the body becomes old, but the mind does not. And therefore, that's why some old people, you could see that even at their old age, even when the body, they know that it's not cooperating, they would insist on attending weddings, events, all events, knowing fully well that the body will not cooperate. Because the mind wants to be there. And what they do, they sit in one place, they ask, bring in one, ask the other person to do the action, do this, do this. And typically as people grow old also, they keep advising and interfering with their children, whatever their children does. They interfere in all activities. So they make the mistake of constantly urging or prompting others, do this, do that, those kind of things. And that's the reason why a lot of children these days do not want to go and be with the elders. This is because of the weakness of the mind. Because their minds are active still. And they want to keep their mind active, and to make their mind active, they actually keep asking others to do or want to do certain things that they are not able to do themselves. We should not laugh at this, or we should not feel that, this is what happens. We may also be doing the same as we grow old. Our children, our grandchildren might be the same, will be saying the same to us. So unless we recognize this problem now and practice it, as in not interfering, loving people to obey themselves, unless asked, not giving any advice, this habit will stick with us as well. And if we cannot do an action, we should not ask somebody else to do this. We should not instigate, prompt others. So here Bhagavan says, that is called as karya kartrutvam. Bhagavan says, Jnānī does not have a karya kartrutvam, which means there is no indirect ownership also. So neither does a Jnānī act, nor does he instigate anyone to act. So how does a jnani behave? Again, if we look at the entire shloka, sarva karmani manasa, renouncing all duties and actions through knowledge. Dehī, the jnani, Sukam aste, seated inside a physical body, which is basically the city of 9 gates. Sukam aste, comfortably seated, nava-dvāre pure, in the city of 9 gates. Naiva kurvan kārayan, without doing any action, nor instigating anyone, he sits there. So this is the essence of this shloka, the meaning of this shloka. Bhagavad Pada, Shankara Bhagavad Pada, he considered this shloka to be very important, and he quotes this shloka in various places. So what does this say? First of all, it clearly says that a jnani is qualified for sannyasa. Once you get jnana, you are qualified for sannyasa. Second, what does it say? How does a jnani live in this body? He does not consider the body to be himself. He considers the body to be a seat on which he is seated. And he is very clear, he does not do either actions, nor does he instigate anyone to do actions. So Bhagavan is giving the qualification of sannyasa here. And what is the qualification? Jnana. Once a person gets jnana, it makes him qualified for sannyasa. Or we can also say that the result of jnana is sannyasa. Once you get jnana, automatically you will sannyasa is the outcome. And sannyasa is required for jnana nishta. That is what this sloka means. Now we'll go to this sloka number 14. न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते न कर्तृत्वं न कर्माणि लोकस्य सृजति प्रभुः न कर्मफलसंयोगं स्वभावस्तु प्रवर्तते. Remember in this previous sloka, Bhagavan said, naiva kurvan na kārayan. That phrase, Bhagavan explains in this sloka. Jnani neither does he do any action, nor does he instigate anyone to act. Which means Jnani does not have any kartrutvam or karya kartrutvam. That is being explained here. Why does a jnani not have kartrutvam or karya kartrutvam? How can a jnani remain like that? Why can't we be like that? Why is it that either I have to keep doing something, or I have to get someone else to do something? Why is that? The answer is given by Bhagavan here, and it is a very simple answer, mundane answer. What is the question? How can a jnani not be karta, and how can he not be a kārayita? See, when we were a child, we would have practiced hard to do certain actions. For example, children, when they have to stand up or learn to walk or learn to speak, it would have taken multiple times of effort. The child would have fallen down multiple times before it could stand up, and it would have fallen down multiple times before it could start walking, or even to speak coherently would have taken a lot of effort. So we had put a lot of effort to learn these things, especially speaking. But what we have to realize is, as we grow old, we should learn to stop reducing the actions also. It is difficult, especially to reduce our talking. As we grow older, we should know when to speak, when not to speak. We had put so much of effort to learn to do these actions. In the same manner, we will have to put a lot of effort. In fact, much more than what we had put to learn to do these actions, much more effort has to be put to renounce these actions. To learn not to stop talking, to learn to know when not to talk, to learn to reduce talking is not easy. It does not come naturally also. We are so used to. Some people, even if they are old, even if the body is fragile, they cannot stop talking. Here Bhagavan is clarifying how it is possible for a jnani to do that. How can he be someone who does not do action and he does not instigate others to do actions as well? Now, as I said, the answer we would have thought to be very complex, detailed answer, but Bhagavan's answer is simple. He says, Atma Svarūpa is such that it does not do any action, nor does it instigate any action. And so, a jnani who has identified himself, a jnani is what? Jnani is one who has identified himself to be Atma. So, a jnani will also be, will not do any action, or does not instigate any action. Remember, when the mind does a papa or punya, it is not that the Atma instigates this mind to do the papa or punya. Nor does the papa or punya committed by the Atma also. Atma Svarūpa is such that it does not have any kartrutvam or kārayan. Similar, because and therefore a jnani, who is a jnani? Jnani is identified the self to be Atma. Atma does not have any kartrutvam or kārayan. So a jnani also does not have this kartrutvam or kārayan. Some may think that the answer is not satisfactory because, Atma is neither an actor nor a Hetu-karta. That's fine. But even for an Ajñānī, the Atma is not a Karta or Hetu-karta. And even an Ajñānī has got the Atma. Then how are we to understand about this statement? See, when we say jnanis, we say Atma does not do any work, does not do anything, nor does it instigate anyone. Fine. But there is a difference there. Where the difference comes is, a jnani has identified himself to be the Atma. He has understood that the Atma is the self. I am that Atma. The jnani owns up to that Atma. And therefore, the jnani does not do any action, nor does he instigate anyone, because he is owned up to Atma. And Ajñānī, he has not understood the concept of Atma. He has understood himself to be the body and mind. So the body and the mind act as Karta and Karayita. The body and minds are Karta and Karayita. The Ajñānī owns up to the body and mind. The Ajñānī considers the body and mind to be the self. And therefore the Ajñānī can only be Karta and Karayita. So this is how we have to understand this. Why a Jnānī is not Karta and Karayita, whereas an Ajñānī is Karta and Karayita. So a person before attaining Jnana will always be a samsari. A person after Jnana cannot be a samsari. Same person. Before Jnana, samsari. After Jnana, he is not a samsari. How, if we extend this with an example, right? For example, in our daily lives, what happens? There is this, we get disappointed, we get this unhappy feeling when somebody disrespects us, or when somebody talks bad of us, ill of us, somebody gossips about us, somebody thinks that we are not good, or they behave in an arrogant manner. What we have to understand is, as we mature in this spiritual journey, that we are getting closer to the Atma. We are getting closer and closer to owning up to this Atma. We are slowly reducing our ahankara on body and mind. Because of that, what we have to understand is, if the person speaks ill, disrespects us, insults us, what we have to then realize is, oh, we cannot ask, why are they behaving like this? That you shouldn't ask. You should ask, okay, after all, they are a samsari. What can you expect a Jnānī Lakshana from them? No. So we have to just ignore. That is how a samsari will be. An Ajñānī does not choose to remain as a karta or kārayan. It is not a choice that they have. An Ajñānī is helpless. And therefore, we should understand they are helpless. In Tamil, if we have to say, they are behaving because of that, because of either ariyamai or iyalamai. They are doing it out of their ignorance or helplessness. So, we should not have any kind of ill feelings, we should not feel sorrow about this, we should not have any hatred for that person when these people behave like this. We should understand that they are acting out of helplessness. Such a clarity of mind is important for us. We have to get this clarity for us to progress in our spiritual life. We are here not to make others progress. It is for our own progress first. We cannot say, why are they behaving like this? They should be going to the Gita class regularly. That's not our idea. Our idea is to see how we are able to progress. And when people behave in this manner, we'll have to say, okay, that's all you can expect from a samsari. Move on. We should not feel down. So here, the Atma Svarūpa is that it is not a karta or kārayan. And therefore, a Jnānī is neither a karta or a kārayan. That is what Bhagavan wants to say here. Now, what is the link between these two slokas? See, in the previous sloka, Bhagavan said, Jnānī understood himself to be a naiva kurvan kārayan. A Jnānī understood himself to be neither a karta nor a kārayan. Here, Bhagavan says, Atma Svarūpa is such that it is not a karta or a kārayan. So, we link these two together and says, Jnānī's understanding that himself to be not a karta or kārayan is because Atma Svarūpa is that. That link is given through this sloka. If Atma Svarūpa is such that it is akarta, as in it's not a doer, fine. But there are some school of thought, some people who say that Atma may not be a karta, but it is a kārayan. So Atma does not do actions, but Atma instigates the body, but Atma instigates the mind to do these actions. Some schools of thought have this feeling. But then Bhagavan clearly calls out, yes, Jnānī and both the Atma is, they are neither karta nor a kārayan. So this is very important, very Because some people have this feeling, this Atma, and we say Atma is Sakshi Chaitanyam. It is only a witness principle. It is just like in the presence of light, good things happen, bad things happen. Light itself does not participate in the action. In the space, good things happen, bad things happen. Space by itself is not good or bad. Similarly, in Atma is just the witness principle in which body and mind performs action. But there are some schools of thought, as I said, they say that Atma is the instigator. Without Atma, body and mind cannot do. It's only the Atma which instigates them to do. That Bhagavan clarifies in this Sloka. Now we will go into the Sloka. Na kartrutvam na karmani lokasya srajati prabhuhu. Prabhuhu means Atma. Here Atma. So Dehā Swami, master of the body. Here when we are talking about Prabhuhu, Dehā Swami, we are talking about original consciousness. The Nirguna Asanga Atma is being talked about here. Why do we say original consciousness? Is there a consciousness which is not original? Yes, there is. That is reflected consciousness. Original consciousness is Atma, which is all pervading, Sarvagataha, which is only one. Then the reflected consciousness is the one consciousness, that is the original consciousness reflected in the mind. That is called as reflected consciousness, which together we take it to be, along with the mind, to be the ahankara, the self. Just like when we stand in front of the mirror, we see two faces. One which is the original, the other is the reflection. The reflection is not real. And anything that happens to the reflection does not affect the original. For example, I see a mirror. If there is a crack in the mirror, such that the crack appears at the forehead of the face in the mirror, does it mean that the actual forehead has got a problem? No. Or if I draw a mustache in the mirror face, I have already. So maybe if I actually color it, will it impact the original face? No. So here Bhagavan says Prabhuhu, he does not talk about the reflected consciousness, he talks about the original consciousness. The Nirguna Asanga Atma is being called as Prabhuhu, master of the body. Swayam Jyotihi, one which illumines by itself. This Atma, Prabhuhu, na srijati. Na srijati. Atma is not the cause. Atma is not the cause for what? Kartrutvam. Na kartrutvam, na karmani. Kartrutvam means doership. Atma does not instigate anyone to do actions. Atma does not create kartrutvam in any person. Bhagavan clarifies clearly. Bhagavan says Atma is not the Hetu-karta. Atma is not the kārayan. So does Atma does anything on its own? Bhagavan says no. Na karmani. Atma does not do any actions. Nor does it instigate anybody, nor does it do any actions. Here karmani does not mean actions alone. Even the results of the action. Kriyate iti karmani, which is being acted upon, is also karma. So which means results of the actions is sanchita karma, prarabdha karma, agami karma. All are fruits of our actions. So here the results that the human beings want to get out of the actions is called out as karmani here. Karmani means both actions as well as results. For example, we do some work. We work to build a house, get a house, or buy a car, or get a new job, whatever. All the results. Atma does not create the results also. Atma does not create what we want to achieve also. So neither does it act nor does it create whatever is got out of those actions. Because there is some people that the whole world is created by Atma, which means Atma is the one which has created all these objects in this world. No, we do not. Bhagavan says, na karmani. The results of the actions are also not created by Atma. Next word is lokasya. Lokasya means, here lokasya means for the body, for the physical body. So when we read this word, we'll have to prefix this word lokasya with kartrutvam as well as karmani. Na kartrutvam lokasya. It does not create actions out of the body. So Atma does not create kartrutvam in the body. Na karmani lokasya. Atma does not create results that can be enjoyed by the body. So Atma does not create results or actions that can be experienced by the body. So Bhagavan clearly says that in the first line. Now in the second line, Bhagavan says one more thing that Atma does not do. Na karma palam samyogam, nor union with the fruits of action. Say Jiva does a karma. Action is done, action is gone. For example, a person does charity. Now the charity will give him punya. Shastra says this donation will give the karta after some time a result in the form of sukham or happiness. Because this is punya, it will result in sukham or happiness. Now the question is, who will ensure that the results of the karma and the karta are mapped? That this person should get the results of the action after certain time. Who maps it? Who matches it? Some people say that it is the karma itself which will ensure that the phala is enjoyed. So the action itself will make sure that the results of the actions are brought to the same karta. We do not agree. We say karma is a jada vastu. And once the action is done, the action ceases to exist. It's gone. It's no more in the universe. I have given, action is gone. So how can it enjoy the results? So we do not agree that the karma does it, nor do we agree that the Atma is the one which actually enjoys it also. So Bhagavan here says, even that is not done by Atma. Na karma pala samyogam. Atma does not do the work of karma pala data. So Atma does not make someone a karta. It does not create results of the karma which are enjoyed by the body. It does not enjoy the karta with the results of karma also. Atma does not do anything. Then who does all these things? Swabhavastu pravartate. Pravartate means these are being acted upon. By whom? Bhagavan says swabhavaha. Swabhavaha means nature. Nature means maya. Shankara Bhagavad calls it as avidya lakshana maya. Avidya means ignorance. So it is the pravartate kurvan kārayan. Swabhavaha kurvan kārayan pravartate. Maya is the one which does and instigate these actions. Atma is asangaha. That is the meaning of this sloka. So from here, Shankara Bhagavad takes a few more points based on this shloka. He says, because first of all we know Atma is neither karta nor karayita. Clear. Now because Atma is not karta, not a karayita, it means Atma is also not a bhokta or bhojayita. So which means Atma is not an enjoyer, nor is he the one who makes others enjoy or experience. So no bhokta, no bhojayita. Third one, Atma na prapta, na prapayita. Atma does not attain anything, nor does it make anyone else attain anything. In other words, Atma neither experiences the results of action, nor does it make others experience the results of action. In short, if we have to say, Atma is Akarma Svarūpa. Atma does not have any Karma Svarūpa. And a Jnānī is able to recognize that. A Jnānī recognizes that he is an Akarma Svarūpa. Whereas for an Ajñānī is Karma Svarūpa. Why? Because he has not got the knowledge of self. He does not have this Atma Jnana. So, Ajñānī takes this ownership on Anatma, the body. The body is Karta, body is Kārayita, body is Bhokta, body is Bhojayita, body is Prapta, Prapayita. And this is true whether the Ajñānī is sitting, lazing around in a corner or working. It's true. So, this is the meaning of this sloka. Now, what is the takeaway for us? Until this Jnana comes, we will have to take these as values. So, these are values that we have to strive for until it becomes our Svarūpa. What is the value that we have to strive for? I am not the Karta. The body is doing the action, the mind is doing the action. How do I make sure that the body and mind does the right action? Follow Karma Yoga. I try not to instigate anybody to do actions. I make sure that I am not affected by others behaving in that manner. In that way, I try to imbibe these values. So, what is the essence of this sloka? Atma is not Karta, does not make someone a Karta, does not create results, does not enjoy the karma, results of karma. Maya is the one. The next sloka, Bhagavan will talk about what is Maya. We will see in the next class. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.
Hari Om. Guruji, you have